From Martha Stroud's The Sociopath Next Door, we pick up where I left off. Maybe you cannot be the CEO of a multinational corporation, but you can frighten a few people and cause them to scurry around like chickens, or steal from them. That's a big one for sociopaths. And maybe best of all, create situations, that cause them to feel bad about themselves. And this is power, especially when the people you manipulate are superior to you in some way. Most invigorating of all is to bring people down who are smarter or more accomplished than you, perhaps classier, more attractive or popular, or morally admirable. This is not only good fun, it is existential vengeance. And without a conscience, it's amazingly easy to do. You quietly lie to the boss or the boss's boss, cry some crocodile tears, or sabotage a co-worker's project, or gaslight a patient or a child, bait people with promises, or provide a little misinformation that will never be traced back to you. Now let us say you are a person who has a proclivity for violence, or for seeing violence done. You can simply murder your coworker, or have her murdered, or your boss, or your ex-spouse, or your wealthy lover's spouse, or anyone else who bothers you. You have to be careful, because if you slip up, you may get caught and punished by the system. But you will never be confronted by your conscience, because you have no conscience. If you decide to kill, the only difficulties will be the external ones. Nothing inside of yourself will ever protest. Provided you are not forcibly stopped, you can do anything at all. If you're born at the right time with some access to family fortune, you have a special talent for whipping up other people's hatred and sense of deprivation, you can arrange to kill large numbers of unsuspecting people. With enough money, you can accomplish this from far away, and you can sit safely and watch back in satisfaction. In fact, terrorism, done from a distance, is the ideal occupation for a person who is possessed of bloodlust and no conscience. Because if you do it just right, you may be able to make a whole nation jump. If that's not power, what is? Or let's imagine the opposite extreme. You have no interest in power. To the contrary, you're the sort of person who really does not want much of anything. Your only real ambition is not to have to exert yourself to get by. You do not want to work like everyone else does. Without a conscience, you can nap or pursue your hobbies or watch television or just hang out somewhere all day long. Living a bit on the fringes and some handouts with relatives and friends, you can do this indefinitely. People may whisper to one another that you're an underachiever or depressed, a sad case. Or, in contrast, if they get angry, they might grumble you are lazy. When they get to know you better and get really angry, they may scream at you and call you a loser and a bum, but it will never occur to them that you literally do not have a conscience. That in such a fundamental way, your very mind is not the same as theirs. The panic feeling of a guilty conscience never squeezes at your heart or wakes you in the middle of the night. Despite your lifestyle, you never feel irresponsible, neglectful, or so much as embarrassed. Although for the sake of appearances, sometimes you pretend that you do. For example, if you're a decent observer of people and what they react to, you may adopt a lifeless facial expression. Say how ashamed you are of your life and talk about how rotten you feel. This you do only because it is more convenient to have people think you are depressed than it is to have them shouting at you all the time or insisting you get a job. You notice that people do have a conscience, feel guilty when they harangue someone they believe to be depressed or troubled. As a matter of fact, to your further advantage, they often feel obligated to take care of such a person. If, despite your relative poverty, you can manage to get yourself into a sexual relationship with someone, this person, who does not suspect what you are really like, may feel particularly obligated. And since all you want to do is not to have to work, your financer does not have to be especially rich, just reliably conscience-bound. I trust imagining yourself as any of these people feels insane to you, because such people are insane, dangerously so. Insane, but real. They even have a label. Many mental health professionals refer to the condition of little or no conscience as antisocial personality disorder, a non-correctable disfigurement of character that is now thought to be present in about 4% of the population. That is one to say 1 in 25 people. I should say this is a figure that has increased socially percentage-wise since this book was written, but I won't go further down that path. This condition of missing conscience is called by other names, too, most often sociopathy, or the somewhat more familiar term, psychopathy. Guiltlessness was in fact the first personality disorder to be recognized by psychiatry. And terms that have been used at times over the past century include, psychotic inferiority, moral insanity, moral imbecility. These are antiquated terms. My word's not from the book. According to the current Bible of psychiatric labels, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders 4 of the American Psychiatric Association, the clinical diagnosis of antisocial personality disorder should be considered when an individual possesses at least 3 of the following 7 characteristics: failure to conform to social norms, social norms, deceitfulness, manipulative, impulsibility, failure to plan ahead, irritability, aggressiveness, reckless disregard for the safety of self or others, consistent irresponsibility, lack of remorse after having hurt, mistreated, or stolen from another person. The presence in an individual of any 3 of these symptoms taken together is enough to make many psychiatrists suspect the disorder. I'll leave this video here.